would have took away from the occasion.
And the whole energy was supposed to be blessing Pun, praising Pun, loving Pun. Plus, besides that, we're not totally welcomed by his family and
but here's the deal, right? Me being Pun's friend as well, I'm jealous sometimes when I see that, there could be a Biggie's documentary, there could be Biggie movies, there could be everything. And
for more than 2 decades, hip-hop fans have asked the same question. How did Big Pun become one of the biggest Latino rap legends ever, but somehow never get the major Hollywood movie treatment his story seems built for? We've seen biopics, documentaries, anniversary projects, and whole franchises built around other fallen rap icons. But when it comes to Pun, that big movie has always felt like it was stuck behind a locked door. And now, Fat Joe is finally explaining why.
Our brother really...
Well, I can't do it. Let me explain something what happens to me. They can do it. Let them do everything. So I gave his wife everything.
Joe,
you don't understand what Fat Joe does.
To be involved.
All right, so let me ask you something. So what does Fat Joe do? Fat Joe created Big Pun. I don't give a what type of smoke, steroids, dust you on. Fat Joe invented Big Pun. There's just nowhere around. And every time I try to talk about Big Pun, when this come out, they're gonna start but no, nigga, I discovered him. Right. I got him every producer, I got every rapper. I dressed him better than me. I bought him bigger chains than me. I did. If I spent $200,000 on my video, I spent $500,000 on Puns. I did that, right? So now, okay, he passed away. I did something nobody ever did, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I don't think Puff Daddy gave the rights to Biggie back. I don't think they gave the rights to Tupac back. I don't think they did. So I said, okay, you saying Fat Joe's jerking you, take everything.
To the family.
No, to the family. Take everything, not a problem. Everybody got whatever they want. Get everything. Fat Joe doesn't own $1, no tax. I don't have nothing to do with Big Pun. That's what y'all wanted. All right, cool. So now Big Pun is dead for 20 years. Now you got all these niggas, the Super O's, the Rigs, the this, involved, who's trying to make money with the family off the estate. And they say, come on, Joe, after you created the whole do it for Big Pun, my nigga. Do it for Big Pun 20 years later, my nigga. The Pun ain't here, bro.
According to Joe, the problem isn't that nobody ever wanted to make the movie. He says people actually came to him with the idea and told him straight up they couldn't properly tell Big Pun's story without Fat Joe being involved. That makes sense too, because Joe wasn't some random industry dude standing on the sidelines. He was there before the platinum plaques, before the fame, and before Pun became the larger-than-life figure fans remember today. But this is where the story gets real messy. Joe says he was willing to participate, and he claims he wasn't even asking for money. His condition was something completely different. He wanted Pun's widow to publicly acknowledge that, in his version of events, he never robbed the family, never took their money, and never did them dirty. Joe basically said, clear my name publicly, and I'll help tell Pun's story. That one condition tells you this situation is way deeper than a movie deal, because according to Joe, the biggest problem isn't Hollywood, budgets, scripts, or casting. It's years of tension that exploded after Pun passed away. Joe says while Pun was alive, they never had this kind of drama between them. No major falling out, no constant public war, just two men moving like brothers.
Pun ain't here, so would you want me to go and work my ass off and go for free for Big Pun, and then you take all the money that I work for? People don't say, wait, and I'm the big guy. I gotta do this big guy all the time. Like, yo, bro, they got it up.
But can we reach a happy medium where Pun can have these documentaries, can have these movies?
Yo, listen, let me explain.
I mean, just like, because you know what it is,
Joe? They got it.
But hear me out. The thing about
you don't need Fat Joe. They got a million philosophers.
You can't do a documentary on Run DMC without Run. You know what I'm saying?
Then the problem is they don't want Fat Joe's name attached. When this interview comes out, you'll see. Right, because you're not crazy. You caught some crossfire.
Yeah, I'll catch crossfire from you all the time.
Crossfire.
All the time.
But really about this. This is 20-something years later. It's really about this. Because Fat Joe has no dirt on his reputation or anything he's done. I made niggas millionaires. See us here, we done did 1 million shows across the world. I don't owe a dollar on the planet Earth. Everybody down with me is living. Every nigga down with me got a mansion. Every nigga down with me is rich. Every nigga down with me is
Let me hold something, wrist player.
I'm not gonna lie, you walk in my store, I got stores in the hood.
All right.
Stores in the hood. I never left my community. My ties are still there. I got stores in the hood. When you pull up the managers of my store and them niggas got Rolexes on and Benz trucks. Everybody eats with me. Everybody eats with me. So when you dig up one situation in 30 years of some niggas they made the wrong choice. I made the wrong choice.
Right, people make
I
mistakes.
had beef with 50 Cent and Jay-Z at the same time. I made the double yonder, Bobby. The biggest niggas in the world. Did you see me come up on Dream Chats one time and cry? Or if I'm going to, Reebok is offering me millions of dollars for sneakers and some niggas is like, yo, we ain't you if you give them that check. I never came up here and cried and I took my bones. You chose a side. You know what I'm saying? You chose to go that way. The people who chose to stay loyal to me, they are in mansions with swimming pools inside of it. With they're in mansions with, so everybody who chose to stay with me is rich and doing great. And if we brought them all here, they'll be like, oh my God, this is my brother, I love him to death. He's the best in the world. He gets, so, you know, this is and then my whole thing is, and he knows that, and you should know that, is my DNA is based on loyalty.
And that's what makes this whole story hit different, because the same relationship Joe says helped build Big Pun's career eventually became tied to the reason his movie may never have happened. To understand why Fat Joe feels so strongly about being part of any Big Pun movie, you gotta go back before Pun became a household name. Joe says he didn't just know Pun after the success came. He was one of the people helping open those doors from the beginning. In Joe's version of the story, he connected Pun with producers, rappers, opportunities, and the kind of industry access that could take a gifted underground MC and turn him into a real star. And Joe doesn't exactly downplay his role either. He straight up said, Fat Joe created Big Pun. Now obviously, Pun had the talent, the voice, the bars, and the personality that made people pay attention. Joe isn't saying he wrote Pun's rhymes or gave him that ability. What he's saying is that once he saw what Pun had, he put serious resources behind him and treated Pun's career like it mattered just as much, maybe even more, than his own. Joe even claimed that when he was spending big money on his own videos, he would spend even more on Pun's. He talked about getting Pun better jewelry, bigger looks, major collaborations, and making sure he wasn't treated like some side artist standing behind Terror Squad. That's important because Joe's argument today is basically this. You can't tell the full Big Pun story while pretending the years they built together never happened. But none of that means every side remembers the business relationship the same way. And that's where this story starts getting complicated. After Poon passed away, questions about money, ownership, rights, and who controlled what became part of the conversation. Joe says accusations started flying that he had taken advantage of Poon's family. Accusations he has strongly denied for years. And instead of fighting to hold on to Poon's catalog or estate, Joe says he made a move that completely changed the situation. He gave up what he had and told the family to take everything.
You know? No, this is real talk. My whole DNA is based on loyalty. So the very inception, the very thing about Fat Joe, the thing that makes Fat Joe rich is that he's loyal. He'll ride out with you no matter what.
Right.
Here come these people with their Teflon every time testing the Teflon, where whenever they can get some airplay, oh no, because this and this. They're lies, man. They're lies, bro. And I would tell people to check my track record with the other 1,000 people, 1 million people I've done business with in the past 20-something years that will all tell you this guy pays ahead of time. This guy's great. This guy's this. This guy's this. And you got, you know, it is what it is.
Joe,
let's lighten the mood.
So is there absolutely no path ever in your foreseeable mind that these things
Listen,
get reconciled?
I'm gonna leave it like this. Somebody called me up and said, Joe, we want to do a Big Pun movie. We can't do it without Fat Joe. I said, fine. Tell his wife, I don't want no money, I'll do the movie. Admit that Fat Joe never took $1 from you, never robbed you, never did it, because she knows the truth. They know the truth. Just admit it publicly, Instagram. Yo, you know this. Yeah. Why are you asking me this?
He asked you.
No, he's at the scene of the crime. He was there at the scene of the crime.
He asked you this.
I say the truth. I'm like, say the truth.
Right.
You made a mistake. You lied to people. You said Fat Joe robbed you, took advantage of your family. Truth is, he looked out for you, gave you everything, gave you money, let's say the truth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, I can't do that. Also, when we can't do a movie.
That decision is a huge part of why Fat Joe sounds so frustrated today. According to Joe, once people started accusing him of doing Pun's family wrong, he decided he didn't even want the headache attached to the business anymore. His response was basically, if everybody thinks I'm holding something over the family, then take it. Take the rights, take the control, take whatever belongs to Pun's side. I'm stepping away. Joe even compared the situation to other legendary rappers whose estates stayed tied up with labels and business partners for years. His point was that he believes he did something rare by removing himself financially instead of trying to keep collecting off Pun after his death. Whether everybody agrees with Joe's version is another story, but that's clearly how he sees it. And here's where things get interesting. Joe says after giving everything back, years later, people still wanted him to come help make Pun projects happen. Documentaries, tributes, maybe eventually that movie. From Joe's perspective, that created a strange situation. He says he was pushed away from the business side, but when somebody needed the history, relationships, or credibility that came with Pun's rise, suddenly they wanted Fat Joe back in the room. That's why he kept stressing that people don't actually need him if they want to make something without him. They can try.
I don't know what you want me to get stuck in my and drill the shit a little bit further. I don't know what to do.
All right.
Okay. It's unfortunate.
And does his son
say the son?
Because I feel like Chris is an amazing artist. Imagine if you guys were.
Imagine what Fat Joe produced his new album.
I'm just saying, just
blew him up.
So now just supported him on some level.
Let me explain something to you.
I seen you with the olive branch. You asked him.
No, that's what I'm asking. I don't know if there was ever been
puns for big puns.
It would be really nice if I produced the whole album of hits and did the right thing.
I'm not saying all of that. I'm just saying some kind of support.
What support?
Maybe Nori featured on a track with Chris.
I did a record with him. on Terminology's joint.
Yeah, the whole shit is
But for Big Pun's dedication, Loud Records, I remember you telling me you called him, or you could tell me after.
We did a dedication to Pun in Radio City Music Hall, 20 years.
I was supposed to be with Joe, but that's the day we had Lil Wayne and Mayweather back to back, so I couldn't go. So good.
So he couldn't go. We had everybody.
It's the first time he flipped on me. He really flipped on me.
Yeah, I mean,
he flipped on me.
You Big Pun's best friend.
In Kanye's church service, Fat Joe. He couldn't wait to leave the church,
Yo, listen, bro. Listen, I don't take Pun lightly for no way, shape, or form.
Make some noise for that.
But Joe also knows there are parts of Pun's story that he personally lived through, and those moments can't just be recreated from secondhand stories. And apparently, Hollywood understood that too, because Joe says somebody eventually reached out about a big Pun movie and told him directly that the project wouldn't feel complete without his involvement. That should have been the moment everything finally came together. Instead, it exposed the one issue that was still sitting between Joe and Pun's family after all those years. And this is where Fat Joe finally drew the line. According to Joe, when the big Pun movie idea came back around, he wasn't demanding a producer fee, a percentage, or some giant Hollywood check. He says he was willing to do it for free. But there was one thing he wanted before putting his name, memories, and story behind that project. Joe said, admit that Fat Joe never took $1 from you, never robbed you, never did nothing. That was the condition. From Joe's perspective, this wasn't about squeezing money out of Pun's estate. it was about reputation. He feels like he spent years being painted as the guy who somehow did Pun's family wrong, while he says the exact opposite happened behind the scenes. So before helping create a movie that could make money, bring attention back to Pun's legacy, and potentially become the biggest Pun project ever, Joe wanted that old accusation addressed publicly. And that's where everything reportedly hit another wall. Joe says the acknowledgement never came, and without it, he wasn't willing to move forward. That makes this situation way more personal than a normal business dispute. Because imagine being asked to help tell the story of somebody you considered your brother, while at the same time feeling like your own chapter in that story has been twisted for years.
Sad part is I never had an argument with Big Pun while he was alive. I never had a dispute with him. I never had an argument. We love each other like brothers. Day in, day night, thick as thieves. The biggest family you ever seen. It's sad that when he passed away, now you got to deal. You see, it happens with everybody. It's going to happen. It happens with everybody. So now you got to, as soon as the family comes in, you don't really know them. Like, you know, it'd be, no disrespect to you, FM, it'd be crazy if you passed away. We really never dealt with your wife. As many times as I know you and all that, who knows if she says she's the new owner of Dream Champs and she got a new way of doing it called, let's put the pink over the table and this and that. And hey,
only Hypnotic on the table.
No, EFM would have never did this. Yo, but that's my brother. But holy shit. But what's going on? No, because he's the original. That's what it is, Papito. I got a brother I haven't talked to for 25 years, my own brother. Maybe even more, my own blood. I guarantee you the day I die, that nigga running in my mother's crib talking about, yo, this is my brother. Yo, I need, and he's gonna get by the crew. You understand what I'm saying? But I guarantee you that nigga coming. You get what I'm trying to, man? That's what you can't play. It's some of the most best, beautiful relationships you ever seen. Turn around they pass. Oh, phase 2, my brothers. Phase 2, AKA the family one. And you like, hold. You start feeling like the Matrix the way it's coming at you, and you just sitting there like, yo, this is crazy.
Joe also made it clear that he doesn't believe Pun's legacy should disappear just because he won't participate. If somebody wants to make a documentary or movie without him, he says they can do it. But there's a big difference between making something about Big Pun and having the people who actually lived those years help tell it properly. And that's the problem sitting right in the middle of this whole movie situation. Fat Joe says the door was never completely closed, but before he walks through it, he wants the record corrected first. What makes this whole situation even sadder is that Fat Joe says the tension didn't exist when Big Pun was actually here. According to Joe, he and Pun never had some explosive falling out, never had years of secret beef, and never spent their time fighting over business. Joe described their bond like family, always together, building, working, and moving through the industry side by side. Then Pun passed away, and the entire dynamic changed. Joe's point was bigger than just his own situation too. He talked about how relationships can flip after somebody dies because suddenly new people are dealing with the estate, the money, the legacy, and decisions that the artist used to make themselves. People who might barely have dealt with each other before are suddenly forced into the same room, and now everybody has a different idea of what the person who passed would have wanted. That seems to be how Joe looks at what happened with Pun. He still speaks about Pun himself with love, but his relationship with parts of the family became something completely different. And once that trust disappeared, even simple things like tributes, documentaries, or supporting future projects became way more complicated than they should have been. Joe even brought up Pun's son and the idea of showing support there. He says he has worked with him before and participated in records connected to that circle, so this doesn't sound like somebody trying to erase Pun's family completely. The issue seems to be that every attempt to reconnect gets dragged back into the same old disagreement. And that's probably why this movie has remained such a sensitive subject for so long. A Big Pun film wouldn't just reopen the music, the success, and the legendary moments. It would also reopen everything that happened after he was gone. and there are clearly wounds on both sides that never fully healed. And when you really break this down, the wild part is that Big Pun's movie may not be stuck because nobody cares about his story. It may be stuck because the people closest to that story still don't agree on how it should be told. Fat Joe clearly believes his chapter can't just be cut out. Pun becoming the first solo Latino rapper to go platinum, the Terror Squad years, the records, the relationships, and everything happening behind the scenes, Joe was right there for a major piece of it. But at the same time, Pun's family has their own perspective on what happened after the cameras stopped rolling. And that's exactly why a real biopic gets tricky. Once Hollywood starts turning somebody's life into a 2-hour movie, somebody has to decide whose version becomes the version millions of people see. That could explain why this has stayed frozen for so long, because Joe's position now sounds pretty simple. He's not chasing ownership of Pun's legacy, but he also doesn't want to help build a movie while feeling like his own name is still being dragged through an old dispute. And unless that relationship changes, Hollywood could have the money, the actors, the script, everything ready to go, and still be missing one of the biggest voices from Pun's actual rise. There's something crazy about that. Big Pun left behind a career people are still discussing more than 2 decades later, yet some of the unfinished business surrounding his legacy is still sitting there too. Now, this is Fat Joe's side of the story, and everybody involved may remember those years differently. But Joe finally made his position clear. If that Big Pun movie ever wants his full participation, there's one piece of history he wants settled first. So Dripzine gotta ask, should everybody put the old tension aside and finally give Big Pun the major movie his legacy deserves, or is too much damage already done? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, subscribe to Dripzine, and turn those notifications on. Salute.